Tedious is a bit of an enigma in the Pokémon world. It's small and mischievous, but it's found in very few games in the series. In Pokémon Crystal, it's only found in the mornings on a single route with a 5% encounter rate. It's small and mischievous and with a penchant for honey, but will Teddiursa pack a punch? As always, we'll start with the 6 rules of this challenge. Number 1, the timer will start when I walk away from Professor Elm after receiving the starter. Number 2, only the challenge Pokemon may be used in battle. No items in battle except for balls to catch HM friends. No evasion increasing TMs such as Double Team. No intentional glitches or exploits. No rare candies until I face red, and I may pause the timer to take a little break. I've used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Totodile with Teddiursa, the reason being that Chikorita is the most defensive of all the Pokemon, and Teddiursa's attack stat is its... I have a little check of the Pokemon's gender to make sure it's a male Pokemon. I nickname him Bear, I talk to Professor Elm, and then the journey begins. And the challenge has begun. We receive a potion from Professor Elm's aid, and as always, I will show you the very first encounter we have with this Pokemon. We go against a Hoot at level 3, we use a Scratch, we take it into yellow, and it's only a 2-hit KO, so I'm happy with the stats here. So at Mr. Pokemon's house, we receive the mystery egg, and we also have a little chat with Professor Oak, who offers us a Pokédex. We cannot refuse that offer, so we will be able to take on the League Challenge because of that. And then Mr. Pokemon very kindly heals us. When we're outside, we get a call from Professor Elm telling us something terrible has happened, and we stumble across danger here with the person who has stolen the Chikorita from the laboratory. It's our first test with a defensive Pokemon, and it takes 4 hits to knock out the Chikorita. Not bad going, seeing as we got growled. So he tells us his name is Triple Question Mark, and we will give that information straight to the police. We battle the trainer just like that, called 3 question marks, and then we tell Professor Elm about the mystery egg, and he gets so excited he crashes into his own wall. He suggests that we should take on the Pokemon League Challenge, and I think that's a very, very good idea. His aide gives us some Pokeballs, and we are about to embark on our adventure. We pick up a Pokeball here and we find our first HM friend. It's a Bellsprout at level 5. I give it a little scratch and then I throw a Pokeball at it, and it's very kind and gets in the first ball for me, so I don't have to fret. Moving on to Sprout Tower, we take on a few of the trainers here, and we also have an opportunity to knock out a Ghastly of all things. That never happens in one of these challenge runs. We take on the first stage with his 3 level 3 Bellsprouts, and honestly it is no problem at all. We're level 9, we're getting critical hits here, there and everywhere, and Teddiursa is already packing a punch even though he's not evolved. So we take on Elderly at the very top of the tower. He's got a couple of level 7 Bellsprouts and a Hoot as well. Critical hit on the first Bellsprout. We don't knock out the second Bellsprout in 1 hit, but it goes down in 2 without us taking damage. A critical hit on the Hoot and a final scratch takes it out. Sagely is defeated. We get our first HM, HM05, and we're ready to take on Falconer. Falconer has a Pidgey and an illegal Pidgeotto, and his favourite move is Mud Slap, although in this instance he starts to tackle me. The Pidgeotto uses Gust on me, but it does barely any damage at all, and a couple of scratches later we have our first gym badge. We get the Zephyr badge from Falconer, and we are very, very happy about that, because that means we can use Flash outside of battle. He also gives us a Mud Slap TM, although I doubt we're going to use it in this run. Professor Elm has asked us to go to the Pokemon Center, so we shall oblige. We'll receive the egg. While we're here, we might as well chat to Nurse Joy and heal up our Pokemon, and then we'll go to the PC and immediately deposit the egg that we were given, because we don't really have time to be hatching eggs. We swap the box to make it easier at the League, and then we embark on our next adventure. The first thing we do is pick up a Paralyzed Cure Berry, and then we pick up the Swift TM in Union Cave. After that, we leave the cave and give ourselves a try with this Fire Breather. We don't have any moves super effective against it, but I want to see just how powerful our Teddiursa is, and very powerful is the answer. So we leave and enter Kurt's house. Kurt tells us that Team Rocket is back, even though they disbanded 3 years ago. and we're more than happy to help him out. So we go down the well and we beat up a couple of Team Rocket grunts. The first grunt here has a Rattata at level 9 which goes down in a single hit, and his second Pokemon is also a Rattata at level 9 that goes down in a single hit. We take on another grunt here who's got a level 7 rat. Goes down very easily indeed. We get another level from that. The Zubat has no issues for us, neither does the third Zubat. We defeat that grunt and we are on our way to the executive in the Slowpoke well, but first we get interrupted by a Zubat. This is a tricky-ish battle sometimes. A level 14 coughing, it's going to take a few hits, but poison gas doesn't hit us, so we can take it down. The grunt is defeated, we get told that Team Rocket was broken up, and Kurt comes with his very, very miraculously healed back, and we'll take on the gym. We'll take on the twins first of all. They've got a Spinnerack and a Ladybird. If we don't OHKO the Ladybird, it will confuse us, I have no doubts about that, but in this instance we OHKO it. So we'll take on Bugcatcher Al, who has a Caterpie. The Caterpie doesn't go down in one, which very much surprised me. The Weedle, however, poisons us, but does go down in one. That means we'll have to run out and do a heal, but I'll skip that for you and go straight to Bugsy. Bugsy's got 3 Pokemon, and he's leading with a level 14 Metapod that takes a couple of hits to go down. Kakuna's next. We scratch it, it poison stings us, but doesn't get the poison. And finally, the dreaded Scyther. It quick attacks us, we do about a third damage, we do a third damage again, and a third scratch. Finishes the job. Very easy Bugsy fight in comparison to the Corsola. He gives us TM49, which I don't believe we'll use in this run, even though it is available to us. And we shall try and take on the rival after just healing that little bit of health. We don't need to go to a Pokemon Center for that. We'll do a save here just in case, because the rival does have a ghost type. And here he is, triple question mark himself. He leads with the Ghastly, which is scary-ish, but we've got Lick and we critical hit it. Zubat's next, we scratch the Zubat to get another critical hit. And finally Bayleaf. He poisons us, he Razor Leafs us, but we take him down in just 3 scratches. He has a little whinge at us, but we have no time to listen to his nonsense. We've got a HM to get. We retrieved Farfetch'd from the forest, we get the HM, and now I'm going to teach both Flash and Cut to the Bellsprouts. I teach them in that order so that I don't accidentally try and cut the grass in the caves. We chop down this tree, and then we get interrupted by a Psyduck, which is our next HM friend. I give it a lick to make sure it's weakened, and a single Great Ball is all we need to take this Psyduck into our care. After sticking on another Repel, we can then pick up TMO2, which is Headbutt, a much stronger move than Scratch, so we shall teach it to Bear straight away. We replace Scratch with the much stronger Headbutt, which also gives the Pokemon a chance to flinch. And then we leave. We try out our new Headbutt on Picnicagina, sending out a Hoppip. Hoppip goes down very easily and we grow to level 22, which means we can replace Furry Swipes with Feint Attack. We won't be swiping at any furries any longer. We headbutt the next Hoppip, and finally we headbutt the Bulbasaur. We take her down and it is time to get the coin case. That means we're going to get our next HM friend, but first we're going to give our Teddy Ursa a lovely little quiff on the front of his hair. We buy 2 packs of 50 coins to get 100 coins, which is enough for us to have an Abra. Abra is our next friend who's going to be using moves on the field, and we'll immediately get our final Pokemon that's going to be using field moves, Kenya the Spearow. We're going to kidnap it from the guard, we're going to remove the mail from it, and we're also going to swap the Pokemon about to make it a little bit easier in the menus later. So we take the mail and then we head up north to speak to the shop's assistant, who tells us about this weird tree that doesn't behave like a tree. After that we teleport back to Goldenrod, we heal up our Pokemon again, and it is time to take on Whitney. So we defeat a couple of trainers en route, we save the game in front of her, and we keep our fingers crossed. Whitney can be scary. We headbutt the Clefairy, take it out in 1 hit. Miltank comes out, it starts to roll, we headbutt, it outspeeds us, builds up damage, but we critical hit to take the victory. She has a little cry, forgets to give us the badge, but then apologises for it, and tells us that we'll also get TM45, which is attract because she says she's cute. So we'll leave this gym here, and then we'll have a look at this mysterious tree. That doesn't look like a tree to me, it looks like a rock, so we'll run away for that scary way. And into Ecruteak City we go, and we take on the Kimono Girls. We have to take on one of each evolution. We'll start off with the Flareon, which we take out in one hit. Espeon is next. We feint attack it, because it sand attacks us, and it's also super effective, and we take it out in a couple of hits. Out comes the very defensive Umbreon. We headbutt it a couple of times, it tail whips us, and we take it out with no issues at all. Up next is Vaporeon. Vaporeon gets headbutt, flinches, and we take it out in 2 hits. And the last Pokemon is the Jolteon. It outspeeds us to tail whip us, but we hit it in a single headbutt. And for our reward here, we get HMO3, which is Surf. Surf will come in very handy later on, but it's time to take on rival number 3. Here in the Burn Tower, he's got some fresh Pokemon that are a little bit scary, but let's see what we can do. Haunter comes out and curses us straight away, so we are on a clock. We don't OHKO the Haunter with the Lick, so it takes a quarter of our HP off. We get the options to learn Rest. I decline to do it here because it's also a TM. Magnemite comes out and we critical hit, very fortunate. Headbutt the Zubat to not take any more curse damage, and out comes the Bayleaf. We take curse damage and get a critical hit from the Razor Leaf, but our Berry heals us up and we can take out the Bayleaf. We get dropped through the floor, we break our ankles, and we see 3 mysterious beasts who make a noise at us, look at us, and then run away. Yusin's very intrigued about that Suicune. He doesn't care about the others, he just wants to know about Suicune. So we'll leave the Burn Tower, we'll teleport back to Ecruteak City, heal up once more, and now it's time to take on the Ghost Gym. We'll take on the first trainer here, and we'll take on the last trainer. I'll skip the others for you. I've moved Feint Attack to the front of the party to make sure that I can always just mash A. It'll make these battles go a lot quicker. That's something I think people very often neglect. You can reorder the moves in Generation 2 by pressing the select button, and in battles where you're going to be using the same type of move over and over again, it just helps. We get an evolution in the middle of this gym. Bear becomes Big Bear and evolves into Ursaring. So we'll take on Medium Martha, and the Feint Attack makes light work of her Ghastly there. Her Haunter doesn't outspeed, and we take it out with another Feint Attack. And then just for a change, we'll use a Feint Attack on the Ghastly. There, the gym trainer's done. It's time for Morty. Morty's gym is a bit of a weird one when you're running a normal Pokemon, because you're immune to most of his attacks, but he's immune to most of your attacks as well. So we'll Feint Attack the Ghastly, we Feint Attack the Haunter, the Gengar comes out, it tries Mean Looking us, and then it tries to send us to sleep so it can eat our dreams, but we manage to knock it out before it can do that. And then the final Haunter goes down in 1 hit. So in this instance, that was probably the easiest gym we've had. We get TM30, which is Shadow Ball, which we cannot use, and we make our way to Olivine City. This person calls us lightweight and gives us a HMO4 strength, so I won't give him a slap because he did give me something even though he insulted us, and we will teach strength and surf to our Psyduck. So a couple of HMs on the Psyduck. We'll do another cheeky little heal seeing as we're here because we are in the Lighthouse next, and that is a PP drain. We go up the first floor, we get our repel wearing off, and the first trainer is this gentleman with a Noctowl. Noctowl, one of my favourite Pokemon actually, but we headbutt it and knock it out in 1 hit. We'll skip the next few battles and go straight to Sailor Ernest. He's got fighting type Pokemon, which is a little bit scary, but we outspeed the Machop, knock it out, do the same for the second Machop, and the Poliwhirl also goes down in a single headbutt. Our 130 attack stat is putting in the work at the moment. We can hit very hard indeed. We get told that we need to heal up the Ampharos, but first I'll take up this rare candy from the bottom floor of the lighthouse and leave to go sail the 7 seas. When we're in Ecruteak City, we pick up the secret potion from the man with the glasses and we go straight into the gym. Now this gym is one that could be scary because it's fighting type and that's our only weakness, but we take out this Hitmonlee with no issues whatsoever. We then take out this Mankey with no issues at all. We are OHKOing almost anything at this point. That 130 attack stat is ridiculous. We can even Oko the Primate to take us to Chuck himself. He throws a rock on a statue to try and impress us, and then he sends out his Primate. His Primate goes down in a critical hit headbutt. Poliwrath is next. And another critical hit headbutt. Our bear loves the critical hits. Our reward is the Storm Badge, and we can also fly outside of battle. We get Dynamic Punch, one of the least useful moves in all of Pokemon. 50% accuracy is terrible. His wife fat shames him, and then we can fly to Ecruteak City because we're going to break the order ever so slightly. We're going to do the Lake of Rage things next because I am worried about Jasmine. Her types all resist our normal moves, which means our strongest moves are off limits, so we grab the rare candy, and we're also going to grab the hidden power TM in the very northwest of the Lake of Rage. So we go into this house, he tells us he's discovered a new move, we get the TM10, and then we shall leave, and maybe teach it a little later on. We'll fly back to the lake proper, and we'll take on the Gyarados. It's shiny, would you believe? Never seen that before here at the Lake of Rage. It flinches and a couple of headbutts takes it out. Lance comes along and we can stick our nose in other people's business. He wants us to help him out in Mahogany Town at the Team Rocket hideout for one of our Team Rocket gauntlets. So we'll fly to Mahogany Town and we'll go straight to work. Lance hyper beams a person, not sure that's allowed under league rules, and we get caught by the statue that alerts a guard. This guard goes, statue? Yeah, and I say yes. Yes, it is. Drowsy goes down in one hit. Zubat is next in another feint attack. And I'll skip through the rest of the guards on the top floor. We get a heal from Lance, and then it's more grunts to go. This is one of the longest segments of the game. We have a Venonat here. Venonat goes down in one hit. The next Venonat is much of a muchness. So we'll take on another grunt with a Rattata. The Rattata is easily taken down with a feint attack, which is a special move in this game, and we don't have the best special attack, but it's still quite high. It's just that attack stat is huge in comparison to anything else. So we'll get ambushed by our rival here, who's not going to fight us because he's been beaten by Lance. And we will open the door. We'll say, open sesame to it, and oh no, there is an executive inside who's going to have a bit of a strop with us. He sends out Zubat, so we headbutt it down to earth. Out comes the Raticate, and much the same way we headbutt that with a critical hit. And finally out comes Coughing, who goes down very easily indeed. He asks Giovanni to forgive him, but we don't forgive him. The bird talks and gives us a password, so we shall leave that bottom floor and open the next door, but we get ambushed by two Rocket admins. That seems a little unfair, so Lance comes along and they talk about honour. They were going to 2-on-1 me. This executive has an Arbok, which we headbutt down in one hit. We're massively over-leveled for this part of the game, but we do get the option to learn Slash. I decided to replace Lick with Slash because I think Slash is going to do more damage, and we've got Feint Attack for Ghosts. We headbutt the Gloom, and finally out comes the Murkrow with a single headbutt. It goes down. The Rocket's executive is defeated, and now we have to take on those poor Electrode, working against their will to fuel Team Rocket's nefarious ways. So what we'll do is we will talk to the first Electrode here. It might go boom at us, it might not. We outspeed it, we headbutt it, and we take it down, and there's all three Electrode gone. The signal stops, and Lance gives us a reward, HM06, which is Whirlpool. We need the Mahogany Gym badge to get that though, so let's go and get the Mahogany Gym badge. We talk to Price, who is the Ice-type gym leader, and we do gym number 7 in place of gym number 6. A single slash takes out his seal. Out comes the Dugong. Another single slash takes it out, and finally we have Piloswine, which goes down to a single slash critical hit. Leader Price, very underwhelming for the 7th gym, and doesn't really do the Ice-types justice. I love the Ice-types, but Price's Pokemon are very weak. So we will now fly to Goldenrod City and do a little bit of retail therapy. I want to pick up a Fire Punch TM. My thinking here being that if I go to the wrong floor, I can get a little bit more legwork in. We can get the return TM at the same time and talk to the cashier on our right hand side to pick up a TM48, which is a Fire Punch. Jasmine's Pokemon are all weak to fire, and we do have a half decent special attack, which means we could maybe knock her Pokemon out a little bit easier. We'll give her the secret potion, which makes her go back to her gym. We'll take a little wander in the sea air, get some nice sea air in our lungs, and we'll have a little chat with Jasmine, but first of all we need to replace one of our moves with Fire Punch. I forgot what TM number it was, so it took me a little while to find it, and we will replace Leah with the Fire Punch. And let's see how we get on with gym number 7. This is Jasmine, the Steel-type leader. She sends out a Magnemite and we use Fire Punch. Fire Punch takes it out in one hit, so we don't need to worry about being paralysed by that one. Same thing happens for Magnemite number 2, and now comes Steelix. Steelix takes huge damage with her first Fire Punch. Steelix takes huge damage again, she runs out of Hyper Potions, and we defeat Jasmine. That was a lot less scary than I thought. We receive the Mineral Badge as a reward, as well as TM23, which we cannot use because we don't have a tail, being a bear. Professor Elm gives us a call to let us know something fishy is going on at the radio station, so we shall go and investigate. And here comes the biggest slog of the game. This radio tower segment is the worst part of Pokémon Crystal. It's long, it's boring, they're all underleveled. They just send out Raticate, Zubat, Coughing, the occasional Magnemite. So what I will do is I will skip through all the rubbish for you and take you straight to the top floor where we have the Imposter. He's got 6 Pokemon, he's got 5 Coughing and a Wheezing. This is just a drain on PP. And when you're trying to run this game as quickly as you can, having 6 Pokemon all taking 1 to 2 hits just makes it so frustrating because you're almost guaranteed to have to heal, especially when it lives on just a fraction of its full HP. We get a critical hit on that Coughing though, and the final Coughing finally takes out this annoying Executive. We gain a level, we're level 44 for our trouble there, and we get the basement key. I decide to teach Return at this point to Bear in place of Headbutt, just to give me a little bit more PP to use, because when you use the TM in this generation it replenishes the PP. But oh no, we are ambushed by our rival again. It is rival number 4. He leads with a goal back this time, and we decide to slash all over it. And it gets down in the process. Magnemite's next. We've got Fire Punch to deal with those pesky steel types now. Haunter comes out and a feint attack later. It is down. Sneasel's next. Sneasel will go down if you just look at it funny. So we just slash it away. And Meganium is last. Meganium takes a couple of hits. We take a little bit of damage from the Razor Leaf. And Triple Question Mark has been defeated again. It's back to the grind though. We have yet more grunts to go. Starting with this one here, guarding a switch. He has a single Rattata, so it's barely worth our time. So we'll skip through the next few grunts and get to the final grunts in this underground segment. He's got a single Coughing, we'll use the Return to take it down. And would you look at that, he's got another Coughing. He must have been hiding that around his back. So we'll have a little chat with the director. He will give us the card key, which means we can go back upstairs, but first we are going to grab this TM35, which is Sleep Talk. Sleep Talk will come in handy later because we have a rest as an option. So it's time to take on the 3rd floor of this radio tower, the long and frustrating segment. We've got another Rocket Grunt who doesn't seem to understand how doors work. He sends out a Raticate and we eradicate the Raticates very easily indeed. And a Coughing's next. We're out of slash PP, we've slashed over too many things. And it's up the stairs to the first of 2 Executives. She remembers us from Mahogany. We send out a bear against her Arbok, we slash all over that. And then we do a Return on the Vileplume, but it does nothing, so we hit it with fire instead, and that does an awful lot more. Finally, we have Murkrow. Return takes that out, and we have defeated the first of the final 2 Executives. Last one to go before we never have to speak of Team Rocket again. A Return takes out the Houndour. Out comes the Coughing. Another Return takes care of him. And finally, we have the Houndoom, and we Oko it with a critical hit Return. We get level 48 as our reward, and we can then progress at long last. We get the radio card just by chatting with this lady here. And we do a little bit of retail therapy by buying a couple of TMs. We buy an Ice Punch or 2 just to make it easier to go against the dragons. Now here in the Ice Path we pick up our final HM, HM07, and we immediately teach it to our lovely Psyduck. And with that, Psyduck has his 4 HM moves. He's got Surf, Strength, Waterfall and Whirlpool, and he will be a vital part of the team in navigating through the last part of Johto. We pick up TM44 and a PP up as well, and we immediately use that PP up to get Bear's return even bigger. We use a protein while we're at it, and then it's time to leave. We've got places to go, people to see. In fact, we have got Claire to see. But first we'll have a little chat with the nurse at the Pokemon Center to make sure we're fully healed up, ready to take on the Dragon Gym. Now the Dragon Gym is in an awkward place in this city, and I always bonk everywhere, but I managed to get there and chat with cool trainer Paul, who sends out his Dratini. We return it to death. Out comes Dratini number 2, and we do much the same once more. And his final Pokemon is also a Dratini, just to add a bit of variety. So we'll take on Lola as well. Dratini here is going to go down to yet another return, this time a critical hit. And the Dragonair, a little litmus test of Claire's, goes very well indeed. So we'll chat with Claire and we will see how it goes. 4 Pokemon, 3 Dragonair and a Kingdra. We decide to use return on the first Dragonair, and that goes down very quickly. Dragonair number 2 is down. We're not getting Thunder Waved today. Leader Claire sends out Dragonair, and we use the return to take it out. Kingdra's out. We return. We do full damage and OHKO it very easily indeed. She throws a strop, refuses to give us the badge, and tells us we need to go on Dragon's Den and throw a pitch for a Pokemon device that will read the Pokemon's dreams, and we've got to speak to Theopathetus for that. So we get ambushed here at the production office of Dragon's Den. He sends out another Dragonair because we've not seen enough of those lately. We slash it and critical hit it, and we get level 50 for our troubles. In here we get the interview and we pass with flying colours, so it looks like we're going on TV and our Pokemon Dream Machine pitch will be successful. We get the badge because Claire is happy with our work. She gets a little bit of exposure too there, and we leave, get held up by Claire once more. We escape rope out, and we get a phone call. Somebody must have seen us on the TV. So we fly to Goldenrod City. We've got a few little bits and pieces to pick up. The first thing we're going to pick up is a rare candy. We pick up 10 rare candies en route, and we're halfway through with those. We then fly to New Bark Town, we sail the 7 seas, and we end up in Kanto. And just like the last thing we did in Johto was pick up a rare candy, the first thing we're going to do in Kanto is also pick up a rare candy. Now this route is very long and arduous, so I won't give you the gory details of what happened. There are lots of fainted Pokemon there now. We'll go straight to Victory Road. We'll bung on a rappel so we don't get pestered, and we'll make our way through Victory Road. It's not really a road in this generation, it's very much a small street, but we get TM26 here, Earthquake, one of the most powerful ground type moves in the game, and it's a physical move. So now Bear has a lot of powerful moves in his arsenal, a lot of moves that can deal great damage. We've still got the special move with Feint Attack, but oh no, we've been ambushed by our rival. It's the final time we'll see the rival, so let's see how he does. Starts off with Sneasel, we sneeze all over it, and it goes down. Golbat's next. A single return takes it out of the equation. Magneton is up, and an Earthquake is 4 times effective against the Magnets, so it goes down. Haunter's next. We haunt its dreams with another Earthquake. Out comes Kadabra. Feint Attack takes easy care of that. And then out comes Meganium. We decide to use a return on it when we OHKO. Even though Meganium is defensive, it was not enough to cause us any trouble. So the rival is disappearing into the ether, and it is time for the league. We heal up our Pokemon. We then go and deposit our HM friends. We say thank you to Kenya, to Abra, to Psyduck, and to Bellsprout for their help throughout the Johto region. We speak to the shop and get just 4 full restores to take us through the league if we should need them. And let's take a look at Bear's stats. Level 54, return slash Earthquake and Feint Attack. And with that, we are ready to take on the league. Our repel wears out just in front of Will, so we don't smell for him. And let us take on the gauntlet that is the Elite Four. First on the chopping block is Xatu. That goes down to a single hit. Jinx is next. Jinx very weak defensively, so goes down to a return. Exeggutor is out on the chopping block and goes down straight away. Slowbro's next. It's quite tanky, but almost gets knocked out in a single hit. 2 hits does it. And finally we have Xatu. Koga's next, being promoted from the Kanto League. Ariados goes down to a single return, which is a critical hit. Venomoth's next, goes down to a single return as well. Fortress is out. We've got Earthquake to deal with that, takes it down to half. He puts some spikes around us, but that's no good. We've only got 1 Pokemon. and a Muck weak to ground, so it goes down. Finally comes the Crobat. Crobat uses double team, we use return, and Oko it. We didn't miss because of that pesky double team. Bruno's scary this time because he's fighting, but Hitmontop isn't an issue. Hitmonlee comes out, another return takes it out. Hitmonchan has a priority move, so it deals a little bit of damage, and here comes the scary Machamp. We outspeed Machamp and we take it out in a single hit, growing to level 56 in the process, and we have Earthquake to deal with the Onix at the end. Bruno is down, time to speak to Karen. Karen leads with an Umbreon, which does not go down in one hit, so we get confused and we hurt ourselves. We snap out of confusion the next turn and we hit the correct enemy. Vileplume's next, we use a return to take it out in one hit. Gengar's out. It curses us, so we're now on a clock, but an Earthquake takes care of it. Out comes the Murkrow. We use a return on Murkrow to take it out in a single hit, and here comes Houndoom. We use return even though we had Earthquake, and it knocks it out. The Elite Four is done, but we still have the champion Lance to go. So for Lance, I'm going to replace Feint Attack with Ice Punch, because most of his Pokemon are 4 times weak to Ice. So here is the Dragon Master himself, although I think he's more of a flying type trainer. All 6 of his Pokemon are flying. He starts with the Gyarados. We use the return to take it out very easily indeed. Dragonite's out next. A single return takes it out. Out comes the second Dragonite. We use Ice Punch and that 4 times weakness shows. Aerodactyl's up. We don't really have much to deal with it, so we use return to take it into the yellow. It Hyper Beams us for quite big damage, but not enough to take us out. Charizard comes out, a return makes light work of it, and his final Pokemon, his Hail Mary, is a Dragonite, but Dragonite, of course, being 4 times weak to Ice, goes down in a single hit. And we are the champion. No time for losers here. We get ambushed by Mary and Professor Oak, who says it's a long time since we've seen him. He starts yakking on. Mary wants to interview us, but Lance says no, it's getting too busy, which is a shame because I wanted to promote my appearance on Dragon's Den. So we get entered into the league, our single Pokemon, which is the Ursaring, with a time of 1 hour, 13 minutes and 44 seconds. But we're only halfway done. Professor Elm gives us a call, lets us know he's got something for us. We go behind him and we get the SS ticket. That means we can go to Vermilion City in Kanto, and he also gives us a Master Ball, which will come in handy for catching our final Pokemon. We make the trek over to Cherry Grove to withdraw our Pokemon that we left behind in the league. We've got Kenya, we've got Abra, we've got Psyduck, and we have the Bellsprouts all coming out. We fly our way to Mahogany Town, go into Mount Mortar to pick up our next rare candy. The repel effects wear off, but that's no matter to us. We will repel the Pokemon ourselves. We'll grab the rare candy here, and then we use an escape rope to get out of the cave. Our next destination is Violet City, where we have another rare candy to deal with. This one here is hidden across the water, and one final destination to go to is Olivine City. We sail across the 7 seas once more, trying to avoid all the spinners en route to get our way into the Whirl Islands and pick up our final rare candy of the Johto region. So we use an escape rope to get out of there, and then we'll do a little bit of retail therapy in Olivine City. Got to get that sea air in the lungs, so we'll teleport to the Pokemon Center, and we'll buy a few super repels here so that all the Cantonian Pokemon don't pester us. And then if you get seasick, maybe think about bracing yourself, as it's time to get on the fast ship, the SS Aqua. This person's lost his granddaughter on the ship. It's lucky it's on a ship, which means there aren't many places for her to hide. In fact, she is in this room pestering the captain, so we shall drag her away, letting her know her grandfather's very, very worried. And we will receive the metal coat. I'm not quite sure where he was storing that. And then we will leave the ship as we have arrived in Vermilion City. First thing to do in Vermilion City is pick up our next rare candy by having a little natter with the chairman of the Pokemon fan club, who loves his Rapidash. He loves it so much he cuddles it, gets burnt, but he doesn't mind. But we get the rare candy for that little bit of conversation. And then we have our first gym of the Kanto region. Starting off with Gentleman Gregory, we're taking the easy route through this gym. No trash can puzzles in this generation, which makes me so happy. And his 2 electric Pokemon go down very, very swiftly indeed. We get the option to learn Thrash, but it confuses us, so I decline. And here comes Surge. Lieutenant Surge threatens to zap us like he did his enemies in the war, and he starts off with a tubby Raichu that goes down to a single return. Out comes Electrode, it double teams and outspeed us, but we do not miss. Magneton's next, that 4 times weakness to ground is looking very inviting for the bear. Out comes the second Electrode, it double teams and we don't miss again, hitting it with an Earthquake. And his last Pokemon is Electabuzz. Electabuzz goes down to a single Earthquake and we have beaten Lieutenant Surge. We get the Thunder Badge for our efforts there and we can leave. It's time to go to the next town, which in this instance is Saffron City. We've got not much to do at all in Saffron City, we've just got to navigate our way to the gym and have a little chat with Sabrina. She's a bit of a witch, you know. So we'll go on the teleports pad and see how we fare against her psychic types. She leads with an Espeon, we use a return and we take it out in 1. Out comes the Mr. Mime, quite a defensive Pokemon, but we critical hit to take it out. And lastly we have Alakazam that uses Psychic against us, gets a critical hit, but goes down to a single return. After a chilling adventure with her, we receive the Marsh Badge and we leave. We've got places to go, people to see, and the next place to go is Cerulean City. We're returning the machine part from the Bye Bye A Go-Go Rocket Grunt to the manager. He gives us TMO7, which we do not use in this instance because it's another 50% accuracy move. After that, we can go back to Cerulean City, enter the gym, and we can take on Misty. We take her from behind just to make sure she's a little bit scared. Maybe she can be caught unawares there. She sends out a Golduck. I use return, take it out in 1 hit. It's Quagsire against the bear next, and the Quagsire stands no chance whatsoever. We're 20 levels higher than her. Lapras, even that defensive tank, doesn't stand any chance at all, and neither does Starmie. All 4 Pokemon down in all 4 hits, and we're on a roll, so let's take on Erica at the same time. She leads with a Tangela, and that Tangela disappears into thin air. Jumpluff's next, the return makes light work of it. Out comes the Victory Bell, we use another return, take it out. And her final Pokemon is Blossom, the only Pokemon to lose a type on evolution. Erica is wrecked, we get the Rainbow Badge, and she very kindly gives us a TM. One of only 2 TMs from gym leaders in this generation, we get ourselves Giga Drain. But we've got to get back to the coast, it's where we feel happiest. There's a big sleepy bear blocking our paths here, so we'll have to catch it unawares by using the Pokegear and tuning it to the Pokeflute. We place it near the Snorlax, it wakes up and it's bear on bear action, and we use a Master Ball. We use the Master Ball, it catches it, and we get the leftovers from it. So what we'll do is we will retrieve the leftovers from the Sleepy Bear and give it to the Angry Bear instead, because the Angry Bear isn't as bulky as the Sleepy Bear. And then we go through Diglett's Cave, get out the other side, and it is time to take on Brock. Brock the Rock type, but we have just the move to deal with him. We've got Earthquake in our arsenal. So we Earthquake the Graveler, it goes down in a single hit, out comes Rhyhorn. Much the same story here. We start to get feelings of deja vu with the Omnistar, which cannot survive an Earthquake. Onyx is next, and Onyx goes on its knees asking for forgiveness, and Kabutops is the final Pokemon to take an Earthquake. We get level 65, and we also get the Boulder Badge for our trouble. Boulder Badge meaning that we can carry onwards and upwards. We're going to go through the fake Viridian Forest towards Cinnabar Island. Here at Cinnabar Island, Blue is having a moment of reflection, seeing as the whole island has just disappeared upon itself because of the volcano, but it has very kindly left behind a rare candy. So we pick up the rare candy and we sail away to the Seafoam Islands, which is where Blaine is living these days. He hasn't quite got round to decorating yet, but we won't hold that against him. His whole place went up in a plume of lava. Maybe it was that Macargo's fault, so we take it out just in case. We eliminate the Magnar for many of the same reason, and the Rapidash doesn't outspeed us, so we can eliminate that with an Earthquake, and Blaine is defeated. On this roll, we'll take on Janine. Janine's Crobat goes down to a return. Weezing's out next. It can't go boom on us because we outspeed it. Her next Weezing is a similar situation, we are faster than it. Ariados is next, the return makes light work of it, and her final Pokemon is a Venomoth. She uses Dire Hit in Dire Straits there, and we get level 66. And while we're on this roll, we might as well get our final badge with Pidgeot from Blue. The Pidgeot goes down in a single hit. Out comes the Alakazam. It outspeeds us, deals a little bit of damage with Psychic before going down to our return. Our bear loves us very much. We have an Earthquake to deal with the Rhydon, and Rhydon doesn't go down in one hit. I was very surprised there, but 2 hits does the job. Gyarados is next. A lovely little return makes light work of the angry fish. Executor's next. Hopefully it won't be an Executor of our demise. It takes in Sunlight, which is a silly move indeed, because it means we can take it out in another return. And we have an Earthquake for the Arcanine that didn't use Extreme Speed. We're level 67 and we have beaten Blue. We get the Earth Badge, our final badge of the collection, which means we can go to Pallet Town and have a little natter with Professor Oak, see if he's seen us on the TV from Dragon's Den. He's telling us the gym trainers are tough around here, aren't they? But he is very happy with our work on getting all 16 badges. Not so happy with the Pokédex completion, but 1 out of 2 ain't bad. We teleport back to Viridian City and make our way across the teeny tiny Route 22, making sure to use a repel to not get pestered by these pesky Pokemon. We don't fall down the ledge here, and we carry on to Route 28. The Silver Cave route, half in Kanto, half in Johto. As soon as we get into Johto, we can fly to take a little shortcut, dip in and out of the Pokemon Center to pick up our final rare candy at the very edge of this route. It's past the lady's house and just up here, so we have 10 rare candies. Will that be enough, or will I need to grind? We heal up for one final time. We say thank you to Nurse Joy for her help throughout this. We wouldn't have been able to do it without her. Bellsprout flashes, we tell it off, telling him to use the move instead, and then we make our way through the cave. Regardless of what happens, we can be very proud of Ursaring. It got through all of this without a single reset, which is an amazing accomplishment. But it is time to see how well the Angry Bear does against Red. We start the battle with our attack being lowered, which isn't fortuitous for us, but we still OHKO the Pikachu. Espeon's next. He uses Psychic and gets a special defense drop, and it's going to take us 2 hits to take out the Espeon, but it takes us out first. Attempt number 2. Thunder misses, and we take out the Pikachu. We have full attack to take on the Espeon. It uses Psychic to get us into yellow, but we OHKO the Espeon, and we cover back into green with our leftovers. Looks like it's going to be a 3 hit on the Sleepy Bear, but we get a critical hit to take it down in 2. Venusaur's next. Venusaur uses Sunny Day, which is very dangerous if we knock it out quickly. Solar Beam does big damage, taking us into red, and we knock out the Venusaur. Charizard's next, and that Flamethrower boosted by the sun was enough to take us out. We'll try again at level 72. This time Charm lowers our attack, so we try for another try. So we try again. This time Pikachu's Charm fails, so we could be in with a chance. We knock out the Pikachu in one single hit. Out comes the Espeon. It uses Psychic, gets roughly a third of the damage done to us, but we recover a little bit with the leftovers, leaving us in a good position for the Snorlax. Those extra levels are helping. It's now only a 2 hit with the Snorlax, and we take it out in yellow health. We get up to roughly half health with the leftovers, and Venusaur takes in Sunlight, which makes it an easy 2 hit kill without taking any damage. Flamethrower on the Charizard does the worst possible thing and burns us. It lowers our attack, and we have no chance of survival. Here on attempt number 6 now, Pikachu's Charm fails. We take it out in 1 hit. Out comes the Espeon. Psychic does big damage, but leaves us in the green. We take it out, and we are on to the Snorlax. Snorlax goes down in 1 critical hit. This is the best position we've been in for the Venusaur. The Venusaur starts taking in the sunlight, which means it can't hit us, and we take it out in a couple of hits. Huge HP for the Charizard. It uses Flamethrower, deals a lot of damage, but not enough to take us out. We get a critical hit return, but we don't quite eliminate it. We're on 12 HP for the Blastoise. A return, if it crits, it would kill it, but we don't crit. A change of tack is needed here because Ice Punch and Earthquake aren't really useful in this battle, so I replace them with Sleep Talk and Rest, so that when we do eventually get past the Pikachu, we stand a chance of winning. Red sends out his Pikachu. It uses Thunder but misses. This is a good chance to defeat it. Out comes the Espeon. Reflect raises the defense, but we take it into yellow. It's going to be a 2 hit. We're on roughly 2/3 health as Snorlax comes out. We use Slash and do very little damage indeed, but we're trying to get the critical hit. He body slams us, doesn't paralyze us. We slash again, he body slams, misses the paralysis once more, and the reflect fades so we can use return. Out comes the Venusaur. Venusaur is ostensibly free health because he always seems to go for solar beams, so we hit it in 2, get back to just under half health. We decide to rest straight away because that flamethrower is scary. We get back up to full health, we use Sleep Talk, and we're throwing the dice. This time we got lucky and hit return to get it into the red. Another flamethrower takes us back into yellow, but we knock it out with a third return. We wake up just in time to use return on the Blastoise. We outspeed. He gets us down to 10. We outspeed and hit it for another return to take the victory. 1 hour, 41 minutes, 34 seconds and 13 resets for the bear. And that puts Teddy Ursa as the first Pokemon in under 2 hours on our leaderboard. And we're done. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. If you did enjoy it, please remember to like, comment and maybe subscribe as well. And in the meantime, I shall see you all in the next video.